Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name's Aaron and I like to build stuff on a weekly basis. And this week's build is a Star Wars inspired AT-AT walker. Now before you go reaching for the remote control and skipping forward or even going to a different channel, bear with me because this one is different because I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of steampunk onto the AT-AT walker. So sit back and watch the magic or the scratch building unfold. So jumping straight into the build, what I'm doing here is some clothes pegs, plastic clothes pegs. I'm just trying to cut them down, gauge what sort of length I want the leg to be, and then I'm trying to work out how I can join the lower leg to the upper leg. Now, I'd done some of these before for like mech walkers and realised that the actual problem for me was putting the leg onto the bottle top. So what I did was I used the blowtorch just to gently melt the bottle top to a bit where I could push the top of the clothes peg down and the clothes peg would sit nicely in a little groove in the bottle top. Therefore I had more surface to glue onto the bottle top with the leg. And I would have loved to show you a little clip of that, but the file got corrupted, so I can't. Sorry about that. So pushing forward, I got some paper clips and just chopped them down just to make little bits of like wire coming out of the base, just basically to give it a little bit of reinforced structure for the base of the legs to the bottle top, which in hindsight wasn't needed in the end. I needed something to cover the top of the legs and give it some sort of like a ball joint, so I just got the beads out and glued 4 big size beads onto the top of the leg, making sure that I triple tapped it with super glue, baking powder and then the glue activator. Next was coffee stirrers, which I acquired from the local coffee shop just down the road. Won't be going back there for a while, just waiting for the injunction for them to say that I can't go within 100 feet of them. But anyway, let's move on. These coffee stirrers were cut down to size and then glued on at an angle. I wouldn't worry about the coffee shop because there's plenty more coffee shops in the town where I live, so I can get more coffee stirrers at any point. So anyway, what I'm doing here, I'm just matching up the other side with the first side, triple tapping it with the glue, the activator and the baking soda, and then I'm going to test fit it using cocktail sticks just to see if it will stand nicely, and yes, it did on the first fit, using this I think it's a ketchup bottle as the main body for the AT-AT walker. I decided while the going was good to leave the cocktail sticks where they were and just glue them into place. That way I knew that if I took them out, put them back in, I probably wouldn't get the feet or the legs to sit just nicely. Once the legs were glued into place, had a slight little issue with one of the legs, but it added character to the build just snipped off the excess from the toothpicks, and then I needed to fill in the gaps where the coffee stirrers were, which I used cardboard. This black stringy thing is a hairband that the ladies wear to keep the hair up, and I thought it would look like a nice little sort of connecting pipe from the feet to the top half of the legs. Then what I'm doing here, I'm just adding lots of bits of cardboard just to make it look like it's the toes of the feet for the Attack Walker. Then these are washers that you would use for outside building stuff. It's got a nice little rubber seal on it, so when I put some glue on, it sticks straight away to whatever I'm sticking. Then I've just spent some time just adding little bits of greeblies, some cogs, some beads, all that sort of stuff, just to bulk out the body basically, just to give it a little bit more texture. Those little blue cylinders are, I believe, diodes from an old satellite dish that didn't want anymore. Now every Attack Walker needs a face or a front bit, so what I'm going to use is an old travel shampoo bottle. I'm going to use some EVA foam, and as you can see, I'm just going to start wrapping it around and just covering it all. I'm sorry, I must apologise for that last bit of voiceover. I sounded so common when I said it's the AT&T Walker, or at Walker to be precise. So as you can see, I'm just rolling this EVA foam around the body of the shampoo bottle, and then I'm going to use this plastic bit is from one of an old Star Wars kit that was still rattling around in the drawer, and it looks perfect for the head. These are the lids from the shampoo bottles, and I've just put some EVA foam on them to make it stick better, and these will act as the basis for the turrets for the guns for either side of the head. Getting the neck bit was kind of worrying because I didn't have anything big enough that had ridges on until I dug deep into one of my boxes and found some of this random corrugated cardboard that was the ideal size for the neck piece that joins the main body to the head. So just basically glued that on, and the neck was done. I wish I could say I'd pre-planned this all along, but unfortunately I hadn't. So by some mere miracle, the smaller shampoo bottle actually fit straight into the lid of the ketchup bottle. Therefore I didn't have to glue it, so I'm going to make some pew pew lasers now. And to make these, I've just got some Q-tips. Q-tips are things that you're not supposed to poke in your ear, but we still sell them over here. Some wooden doweling and bits and pieces of beads. Now, nothing complicated with this one. It's just quite simply just add some beads on to the doweling, and just bulk it up and make it look like it's some sort of laser pew pew gun. And the reason why I call them pew pew guns is because when I was a child I actually had one of the original attack walkers, and that was the sound the lasers made when I was shooting at Luke and Han, and it always went pew pew. I don't know why. This is the latest craze, which is a fidget toy. It just makes noises when you open and close it. I don't quite understand it. Anyway, I'm going to cut some of this down and use this as a chimney for the build. This is my latest acquisition, which is ladies' bejeweling kit. 4 nails. I must hasten to add. Thank you. The only reason I got this was because obviously different sized jewels, beads, whatever you call them, but this had a wax pencil, so instead of me trying to pick them up with the tweezers, I could use the wax pencil to dab it onto the bead and straight onto the build. It saves a lot of time, but in hindsight I should have thought about this, because if that's a wax pencil, why couldn't I have just bought a box of wax crayons and done the same thing? Yeah. Next time, Aaron, think ahead. Think ahead, son. So while you watch me still struggling to try and pick up one of these damn beads, I just want to say a big thank you to all my subscribers, old and new. Means a lot to me. If you're not subscribed, think about subscribing. It's free, and you'll get to see each week a new build by me. If you want to leave a suggestion of what sort of build you want to see in the future, just drop me a line here, or email me. The link for the email is in my description, or head over to Instagram where you can talk to me there. I just use a rattle can, spray black, let it dry, and then this is going to be so easy. I'm just going to use a dry brush of copper and then go over it again with a dry brush of bronze in certain places, just to give it that sort of steampunky look, and hopefully bring out all the bits of texture that I've been putting onto this build. Then to give it that sort of weathered look, I'm going to use, I think this is a sea blue, some sort of sea blue, and it's just going to give it that tarnished look on the copper, that I'm hopefully trying to sort of get on it. And I'll just go over this, I'll dab some off here and there, and that's basically it. The Attack Walker, steampunk style, by me, terrain by Aaron. Thanks very much for watching, thanks for putting up for the ramblings, and like I said before, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It'll really help the channel out, and until next time, keep scratching that build, everybody. Nope, don't understand. Nope. Nope. What a load of